Morning, morning, everybody on the around the world. I'm here. Michelle on the West Coast. Feeling good like I know I should. You know, drinking me some coffee. Ooh, excuse me. Looking out the window, looking into the sky, at the mountains, and just kind of, taking it all in. It's actually magnificent. When you can consider, you know, what can happen from an idea when you have an idea, a spark of ideas, or a spark of inspiration. You know, it's it's incredible when you look at it on a big picture. Yeah, I don't like going into details per se because the details get muddled all the time. When you take people into details, it does happen. You know, uh, but if you can allow yourself to just kind of sit and contemplate, cultivate, eventually meditate, but don't ruminate. Because what I'm doing right now is just kind of sitting and reflecting. Not, um, I sense that everything I'm doing is a meditation. All right, for the years of experience I've developed from meditating. So I treat every activity as a meditation. So even sitting here reflecting, I'm meditating per se because I know what my toes are doing. I know where my ass is sitting, my back. You know, I'm paying attention to what I'm hearing, and I'm applying all of my sensing right now. So it becomes a habit. Is my point, where all you gotta do is sit down. You know. So yes, imagine that. That we are, and I know a lot of people will have an issue with this, but we are a spark of of inspiration, a spark of idea. You know, everything's energy. Everything's energy. And I also said in many other videos that, we came somewhat pre wired, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. We came pre wired with instructions. And those instructions were passed on from where? Our previous personalities, our previous personalities. In other words, they passed a baton to us. And this has been going on for 10 million, maybe 10 million to 25 million years, maybe plus. So, and then I told you, the allotted time that we have. Everybody, we ought to accept that, right? Or remember free will, though. There's time for everything, right? And I keep going back to that because I remember when I was at my former job and in the toxic environment and being involved in the midst of attempting to get to have management be reasonable about how they are treating their so-called employees, but they love to call us subordinates. They love that subtitles and everything: submissiveness, subserviency, subordinates. They love the particular management styles that are the majority of this planet, especially in certain entities. They love that. They love to have somebody below them, where they are in a pyramid and they are just the kings and queens of the existence of the universe, is how they see themselves. But when I was there in that environment, you know I never forget, when we were coming towards the end of the fight, so to speak, with management, and they were finally listening, I guess, or finally respond. Maybe not necessarily listening, but responding somewhat. Okay, um, I can remember going home and thinking, man, I mean, I've had enough of this. I've had enough. And then I realized, wait a second, it's time. And it's time for what? It was time for me to retire. I made that plan. I made that promise to myself 10 years ago. And I said, wait a second. So I went and started calculating stuff. And I realized, yes, it's time. Michelle, it's time. And I can remember being so relieved. Because look, at some point, at a point with me, I can care less about whether I had a pension or not, because we didn't have one because of the deception and manipulation the city um, relayed to certain employees and caused certain employees to eliminate their pension and then work on but instead go towards a 401k. But what they didn't tell them is they had to manage that. Okay, not, even though the city claims that they were managing your 401k, not really. You have to get in there and aggressively manage your own stuff. This is your money. So once again, people got complacent and thinking, okay, the city's gonna take care of me. See, in some cases, yes, that's a possibility. Some certain cities have managed their money properly, which means that those that take action now can benefit now, but those who are going to wait and take action later, they're going to be, sadly disappointed, actually, because they waited too long. I'm here because I need health insurance. Well, that's fine that you need health insurance, but look at how old you are. Who's going to hire you? It's all, you have to look at the big picture and know, okay, it's time. There is no perfect retiring. There's no perfect moment. It's a moment. And if you're paying attention to what you're saying in your thoughts, it brings you what you need, what you want, more importantly. So even though I have no idea how our efforts to make conditions fair, a lot of people say, well, okay, we want a fair, there's something, I see something, but I don't know what I see. There's you have to define fair and find out who's modeled it for you. Okay, and then that's when you come together as a collective and discuss it and have conversations about it. And, look at the negative and the positive and, try to neutralize things. What's fair? Basic necessities, of course. Being able to stay in my house, okay, and not be priced out by homeowners insurance. For me, that started out as $1,500 and raised in less than 5 years from $1,000 to almost $5,000. Okay, what's cost of living? Cost of living is nothing but a bunch of rambling numbers. Okay, so when I realized it was time, it's like I had a release of stuff off of my shoulders and pressure. I didn't care. Okay, because what I did is I started investing my money when I realized, what was happening. Where, like I said, where a particular department I worked in, the majority of them chose to eliminate a pension for themselves, which is almost insanity to me. It was insanity when I heard it. Some didn't, though, and they're living pretty good, and I send love to them. They know who they are. They thought about the big picture. They thought about, they considered their age and blah blah blah, but then they were told to get into a risky investment of the 401k and relying on others to manage that and blah blah blah, just stringing them along. So, time. If you're paying attention and you're being real and honest and grounded in your reality, you realize that there is a limit to time. There is a limit to time. A lot of people wait until they're in their 60s, 70s, and they're actually in their 70s and 80s and think they're going to be traveling all over the world. Okay. Like I said, if my parents had started traveling when my dad retired, they wouldn't have, that would have been the end of it for them because of their health issues. So you have to take back the control, which we've lost a lot of what's reasonable about how you are managing your time. Something on my face. Okay, no, I'm clean. It's all clean, all good. But you individually have to take and say, okay, if you're staying around, because isn't there still some type of universal health care out there? If you're staying on a job because you want health care, okay. You do have to consider all of that kind of thing. But to be in a job and be so miserable, I can tell you, some people were so miserable. A lot of them were taking medication just to function, just to have enough strength to get up and go to a job. Okay, so you see how much of that. So that's gonna definitely create and manifest, the need for health care, because you're torturing yourself. And I told you it was toxic. Okay, it was toxic. And so I had enough of it, actually. And so, like I said, it had to be individualized. So again, when I realized, okay, I made that goal, and that's what I used to do. I used to just kind of, I have pages and pages and books of me with goals, and over a course of time modifying the goals and make sure they are valuable and still have the same value that I envisioned they would, if I got to a certain point. And then it started, and each time I noticed my goals started shrinking. You know what I mean? It wasn't so it wasn't pages and pages of goals. I eventually realized, okay, it had to be about more than just materialism, and I scaled it down. I actually still have a what I call it. What was it called? Because I've had a lot of teachers. Okay, over the course of time, nobody just knows things. I did a what's called defining major goals, and this was back in 2005. And some of the things that I was checking out on the goals, and I had put this away. I didn't find this until in 2022. Okay, 2022. I told you that was a significant cosmic event year, and it's not about that. It appears most people didn't see it. How about that? Felt it or heard it. I don't know. Time will tell. So, and then I was looking at some books and paperwork that I had, all these damn goals on there that became irrelevant. And so, and that was a goal as well, to eliminate irrelevancy. Okay, and lessen the load on my consciousness. Being, always being concerned about that. To me, give me the basics, okay, and allow me to cultivate, contemplate, meditate, but not ruminate on what that means to me. Make it simple. Make it easy to reproduce. Who's modeled it? There's plenty of models on materialism. But how many models do we have about the evolution of the consciousness, raising our vibrational frequencies to pick up sounds and tones. Okay, because that's what it's about, in my opinion. I think everything boils down to sounds and tones. Okay, even the theory of relativity. It's about it's about sounds and tones. So the string, when Einstein was talking about the string, that's musical, that's sound. Okay. Energy is sound, right? So we're gonna have to take it there. Okay, and be willing to kind of step outside your so-called knowledge base and what you think you know, and allow yourself to soar. Like I said, no one has to know. You don't have to tell anybody. Just do it. Just be silent. Even silence has sound, right? Tone. Silence has sounds and tones. Okay, string, that's a sound and tone. Energy, sound and tone. That's the key. Okay, so anyway, I just want to put that in your ear, give you something to contemplate on, and have fun with it, and enjoy your moments, enjoy your environment, allow yourself to just go there, go there. All right, peace and love. And I'll be back later today because I do want to kind of sprinkle some things out to whoever's listening before I start back my podcast in a couple of weeks. Give you something to chew on. How about that? All right. So, peace and love, everybody, and trust me, I'll be back.